Yes, indeed, and people that will be getting out there into nature. Well, if you call the centre of London nature, it's got a bit of nature here and there. And the reason I mention London, we have lots of people in the county are doing the London Marathon. We're going to feature them all week on the pop quiz. We have done up till now, and today's no different. Nick Pitman, originally from Flor, is running the marathon on the 23rd of April this Sunday, running for Cynthia Spencer Hospice, and Nick is with us now. Hello to you, Nick.
Hello, Tim. Thanks for having me on the show.
No, it's a great pleasure. It's a great pleasure. I've been on your fundraising page, and you're doing this for a very special reason. You're doing this in memory of your dad.
That's right, yeah. Where to start with that one? So we lost Dad to lung cancer about 5 years ago. I know a lot of people will have been through the same kind of thing. It was an incredibly difficult time for us all to deal with. And the Cynthia Spencer Hospice were just, words can't describe how fantastic they were in looking after him. And it was predominantly their hospice at home team that allowed Dad to stay at home all the way through his illness, which was something that was really, really important to him. So I kind of got thinking, what could we do to try and give something back? And that's why we're trying to raise as much money as we possibly can to try and help them, to help some other people in the same way that they managed to help us out. So yeah, it's really about how they allowed him to keep his dignity. He was a very proud man. He was a very loving man, but he was a very proud man. And they allowed him to keep his dignity and stay at home all the way through his illness, which was really, really important to us.
Well, it is indeed. I never get tired of singing the praises of the staff at hospices across the county. I'm just going to pass you back for a second, Nick, to my colleague Reggie, my producer, because we're having a couple of problems with your line. So let me just see if we can get you on a slightly clearer line. And while we're doing that, I'll tell you what's coming up on the programme. We're going to return to Cynthia Spencer Hospice in the next hour. They've done quite a remarkable thing. I hadn't realised that this was such a common thing for the staff to do, but patients there will make requests for how they'd like to spend their final day. It could be their final week, and they go to the ends of the earth to try and make these things possible. Most recently, they've sadly lost a resident who was hugely into Elvis, absolutely loved all things Elvis. So they put out an appeal and managed to find a local Elvis impersonator who came in to the room, the bedroom where they were. They decorated it in Elvis memorabilia. Elvis gave a 45-minute performance. He looked absolutely the business. It was absolutely brilliant. Just a wonderful thing that they did. And I wanted to celebrate the work they do to make people feel so comfortable at that time of their life. It was Paul Robinson. Not the bloke from Neighbours. Paul Robinson is the local Elvis who turned up. If you've not seen Paul, he looks absolutely fantastic. The perfect hair, the perfect sideburns, all the outfits. So we'll return to that story just after 4 o'clock. Do you know, in fact, I've got a waffle for you. Have you been to Graceland? I know that the resident that we've sadly lost now, one of their ambitions that was sadly unfulfilled was to go to Graceland. They wanted to go. Have you? If you have, I'd love to hear from you on the programme today, and we will talk all about what a fantastic visit that was. Then after 5 o'clock, looking at some of the bigger news stories of the day locally, we'll be telling you all about the recent report into the Skylark Children's Ward at Kettering General. It's the services there rated inadequate. More about that, everything you need to know after 5 o'clock. But I think we have our marathon runner from Flor, Nick Pitman, back with us now. Nick, are you there?
I am here, yeah. Can you hear me okay?
I think we can hear you. I think we can hear you much better. You pay tribute to your father. I know that you say that your dad, he was not a sporty man. He loved his snooker, he loved his darts, but he wouldn't have been...
Well, I guess technically they're sports, aren't they? But yes. He was not an active man, shall we say.
No, so this really, to do a marathon, not something he would have necessarily wanted to do, but it's about determination and commitment, and that's something that he had in spades.
Absolutely, yeah. He was a very, I was kind of saying earlier, he was a very, very proud man. He was a very warm person, but he was a very, very proud man, and his determination really sort of shone through to the end with him.
Well, we wish you the best of luck for the marathon on the 23rd.
Thank you.
I don't know if you set yourself a time to aim for, or is it just getting over the line?
I've set myself 2 goals. I've set myself the goal to enjoy it. And I think that's the main thing that I can get out of this. But if I get round in about 4 hours, then I'll be happy to.
Right, good stuff. Well, as I say, I wish you all the best fortune for the day. It's going to be quite an amazing experience, I'm sure. And let's stay with family for a moment, because I love talking about people's family, but through music. So growing up, what music did you enjoy at home? What was played on the record player? What was played on the radio or in the car?
Well, my parents weren't hugely into music. My dad liked good music, but he didn't listen to it that often. So we're thinking about The Who, we're thinking about Queen, good bands. But the music that I really remember, I think, was my mum's Now That's What I Call Music tape that she would play quite regularly. I think it must have been about Now 5 or something like that. And music like Neil Diamond, Paul Simon, playing in the car, playing in the house. Those are kind of the childhood memories that I think of.
Well, I'll take you back to those memories. I'm looking at Now That's What I Call Music 5. Phil Collins, Phil Collins, One More Night was on there.
Oh, wow.
Frankie, Sister Sledge, Cherish, Kool and the Gang. One of my favourites, the Style Council, Walls Come Tumbling Down. It's a great track. There's some good stuff on there. Yeah, there's some stinkers on there too. Oh, look, Johnny Come Home, Fine Young Cannibals, Duran Duran, A View to a Kill. This is good. This is very, very good stuff. And what about buying music yourself? What were you first inspired to buy?
I think my first album, in fact, I know my first album because I was an absolute Michael Jackson nut. That would have been Bad. And I listened to that until the tape nearly broke. Yeah,
that's just a seminal album. My friend Neil, his elder brother, 3 years older than us, he bought that album. He actually had it, I think he had it on vinyl, actually. The family was big into vinyl. And I remember just holding it and just holding the cover and thinking it was the coolest thing I'd ever seen.
It's seminal's the word for an album like that. It's pretty iconic. Great piece.
And what about gigs? Did you ever get to see Michael Jackson before the end?
I never got to see Michael Jackson. No, unfortunately not. But I think I could probably embarrass myself a little bit. The first gig I ever went to was New Kids on the Block with my sister. So if you're listening, Lisa, then I've got you to blame for that one.
Right, New Kids on the Block. Well, they had
absolutely.
They had some bangers. I mean, Hang Tough was a big hit. Where was that? Was that in the UK?
That was at the NEC, yeah. I mean, if you think that's a banger, just wait till you've seen it live. I mean, it'll change your life.
Yeah, I can imagine. What a shame New Kids are no longer together. But, that's a nice memory. So that was you and your sister Lisa, was it?
That's right, yeah.
Very good indeed. Will she be supporting you at the marathon?
She won't be able to make it down, but she's been incredibly supportive through my training, as is my mum and my wife and the rest of my family. But I know she'll be there in spirit.
Yeah, of course. Well, that's a lovely introduction to you, and it's everybody I speak to who's doing the London Marathon is doing it for such an important emotional reason. So we'll make sure that before we say goodbye, we give out details of how people can support you. I always look at what was number one on the day that my guest was born, because some guests know and some don't, and when you reveal that to people, it's often like a nice little treat, something you didn't realise. Do you know what was number one when you came into the world?
I do know what happened to be number one when I was born. Yeah,
it's a goodie, isn't it?
It's a classic.
Yeah, it's, if I'm right, the Jam Going Underground, which is just an absolute corker. We have to decide whether it's a birthday banger or a birthday clanger. I mean, obviously a banger.
Well, that's not a choice we have to make, is it?
No, it's not a choice we have to make at all. It's a birthday banger. Congratulations. Some people have absolute stinkers on their birthday, but not you. Not you. Quiz. Which brings us to the pop quiz element of the show. Now, some people love quizzes. They love taking part in them. Some people are terrified of doing a quiz. How do you feel? Nervous?
Yeah. Let's go with nervous. I mean, I'm confident that I'll do badly. So I think at least I'll meet my expectation.
I think you'll surprise yourself. We start relatively easy, and we slowly ratchet up the tension as we get through. But I think you're going to be okay. Something you've already mentioned makes me think you're going to be okay. But we're going to do the 90s. We're going to do the 90s for your pop quiz. So if you know your 90s music, you can play along. Question 1. Always classic albums we start with. Classic 90s albums. So let's start with this. Which American singer had her first number one album of the 90s in 1983 with the album simply called Janet?
I believe that would be Janet Jackson.
Yeah, of course it was Janet Jackson. You see, it's a nice, easy way to start the quiz. Right, 1990, we go back in time, 1990, and a piano legend has hit the number one spot with a double A-side single. The tracks were Sacrifice and Healing Hands, but who was the artist?
Oh, the classic, the legend that is Elton John.
Elton John, brilliant. Okay, 2 out of 5, we're doing well. 1991, comedy legend Vic Reeves has scored a one-hit wonder with Dizzy, but what was the name of the band who backed him for that track?
Oh... Was it the Wonder Stuff?
Yes, it was the Wonder Stuff. Excellent work, excellent work. Question 4. 1994 now, Man United have taken a terrorist chant and turned it into a hugely irritating number one single. But what was the song?
If I remember right, that was Come On You Reds, wasn't it?
Yes! You've got an excellent memory for the 90s. Right, finally, a lyrical challenge for you. 1996, George Michael's gone to number one with Fast Love. I start the lyrics, you finish them. So here we go. I won't bore you with the details, baby. I don't even want to waste your time. Let's just say that maybe you could what?
Be Mine?
No, it wasn't. No. Oh, what a shame.
Oh...
Could have had a full house there. No, you could help to ease my mind. Was the lyric. But 4 out of 5, that's brilliant work. 4 out of 5 and a birthday banger. That's, this is good. Yeah, this is very good indeed.
Yeah, it's gone well. It's gone well.
Yeah, it's gone well. Let's hope that things go as well on Sunday, this Sunday, down to London. I ask every London Marathon runner whether they're concerned that their toenails will be intact at the end. I understand that's a weird thing that happens to runners.
I don't want to tempt fate, but when I've done this kind of thing previously, it's not been a problem. So I'm hoping we'll be okay.
Good. I'm pleased. Nick, if we want to support you and raise money for a brilliant cause, where do we go online to find out more?
Okay, well, we are running a final fundraising push on Saturday evening. We're actually running a Zoom quiz, and everyone's welcome to join. It's on Saturday, so that's the 22nd of April, 7 p.m. If people want to get involved, all they need to do is Google Zoom quiz London Marathon. The first hit there will be the Cynthia Spencer page. Click on register, and you'll have all the details you need to either join the quiz or you'll be able to find my fundraising link. It's a quiz for fun. All we're asking is that if people join, they donate a couple of quid towards the fundraising cause, and hopefully we'll hit the fundraising target. So Zoom quiz London Marathon is all you need to know.
Brilliant stuff. Your dad would be incredibly proud, I'm sure. Lots of love to your family, Nick. Best of luck with the quiz. Best of luck with the marathon. I should have asked my final question. Will you be listening to any music on the route, or are you just going to take it all in?
I'm going to take it all in. I think that's the only thing you can do for the London Marathon.
Yeah, I think you're right. Nick, thanks so much for being on the show. We'll pray for sunshine. We will absolutely be praying for sunshine on Sunday. And best of luck to all of our London Marathon runners across the county. I've spoken to a number of you so far this week, and there's always a powerful reason for your decision to pad those streets, those 22 miles of streets. Well, that pretty much takes us up to the top. I tell you what, Nick Kershaw, he will beautifully and gorgeously close the gap at the